Hello, I am Carina, and so that you can spray like a pro, I will show you tips and tricks for a perfect spraying result. In today's film, I want to show you how you can refurbish your garden objects with paints and varnishes. Whether we are brushing or spraying, one thing we always have to do is cover. You see it here, we have laid a protective fleece underneath. And then, if we have neighbors, it's very important. A sturdy cardboard helps to protect the neighbor's flowers. So, cardboard behind the fence, and now we spray. But you're doing something else. You're taking a garden shed or want to do the floors. Then a film with an adhesive edge is always a good option. You can fix it really nicely. In general, when spraying, always consider the wind conditions. Naturally, the less wind, the more likely your paint will end up where it should. In our case, on the fence. So look outside and pay attention to the wind conditions. The calmer the wind, the better. While we're talking about the weather, please make sure your paint is at least at room temperature. Only then can you achieve a truly perfect final result. Additionally, we naturally need to pre-treat our fence. For my new fence, it simply means we just take a cloth and wipe off the dust. If we have an old fence, I need to sand the material on it, of course. This means we take the sanding block, sand the surface, and then use the cloth to remove the dust. You can do the same with your garden furniture. A garden shed needs a new color, and a terrace also needs to be redone repeatedly. When spraying paints and stains, we use the wood and metal standard spray attachment. It's easy for you because you can identify which material can be processed based on the symbols on the spray attachments. You see a wall symbol here. We work with all types of interior wall paints. Here, our fence is always applicable for all paints and varnishes. In general, for our universal spray guns, you can work without thinning. For some extremely thick materials, it is recommended to thin them by 5 to a maximum of 10% to achieve a nicer end result. But if you are working with our wood and metal gun, remember to thin it in the range of paints by 5 to 10%. My paint currently looks like this. As you can see, the paint flows back very viscously. And to see how the result is, we are now filling the whole thing into our spray attachment. So, now let's take a look at the whole thing with the undiluted paint. Look, here the spray pattern is too heavy, and of course, we don't have the result we want. So what do? We dilute 10% with water. So to dilute our material now, we separate our spray attachment from the actual device, unscrew the spray head from the container, and then you'll find a stirring stick in your delivery package. The stirring stick is ideal because it helps you and you don't have to calculate, as each notch you find always represents 10%. This means stir into the container, the water, we look. Add 10% water, then of course, stir vigorously. And as you can already see, the material flows nicely and evenly down our stirring stick. And now we have diluted the whole thing and are looking at it on our surface again. And very clearly visible. Here, a very fine spray pattern. We have a really great paint application. With our spray attachment, always remember you have your suction tube here, and as you can see, it is angled. Now you want to work overhead and keep the suction tube clearly pointing downward, because when you work overhead, it points downward and draws the material. If you're doing this on the ground, turn the suction tube forward so all material is used to the last drop. If you want to work on a wall, keep your spray attachment straight. And there too, I recommend letting the suction tube point forward so that you can work as long as possible without refilling, even with little material. Now we screw on the paint container, and with a click, we can start spraying. You know, practice makes perfect. So take the test poster from your packaging or an old cardboard box and just try out the material before you start. With all FLEXiO devices, we have the option to regulate the airflow. This is really important because we want to work with as little spray mist as possible. So always pay attention to the dial. Thin materials from minimum to 6. You can see it very well on the fence element depicted here at the top again. For thick materials from 6 to a maximum, as seen on the wall illustration. I want to show you how the spray pattern changes when we adjust the air volume. We'll start at the minimum and turn it up to 6. Let's see. As you can see, minimal air volume. We have a really wide spray, large dots, and the further we go back here, the more we reach air volume 6. It sprays very finely. We have a nice pattern. For a perfect final result, it is incredibly important for you to regulate the amount of paint. This is the little dial here, directly on your trigger. You simply need the amount of paint depending on the surface, the speed at which you work, or the nature of the material you are processing. This means the thinner a material is, the less paint you need to apply. To show you how the amount of paint affects the spray pattern, I have now turned the paint amount all the way down. You can see here, the dial is relatively far out, and we will now just make a spray pattern. As you can see, we have a very even, narrow spray jet and can work very precisely with it. Now we will repeat the whole thing with a very, very high amount of paint. For that, we simply turn the knob all the way in. The advantage is we can then pull the trigger all the way and see. As you can see, with a large amount of paint, we have a much, much wider spray pattern. This allows us to cover much more area in the same amount of time. And so, once again, for everyone starting with spraying, start with a small amount of paint and then simply increase it. When spraying, there are a few things we need to keep in mind. The ideal spray distance is 5 to 10 centimeters, and the closer you are to the object, the narrower the spray pattern. Also important, we spray, we don't brush. So no wild waving, but consistent work. When we're at our fence, we work along the slat and only change direction once we've gone past the slat. Only this way do we achieve a perfect, even coat of paint. On the spray attachment, you can set 3 spray directions. We start here with our vertical slat, so we need a horizontal spray pattern to work. You can see this clearly on your nozzle. The little horns always show you the spray direction. You can grip it horizontally, meaning a horizontal flat spray, to work from top to bottom. For our horizontal slats, you see here we need a vertical flat spray. For that, you turn the nozzle. So the horns are horizontal, you can spray vertically, and then go to the horizontal slats. Targeted work is also possible. We need the point spray whenever we want to do detailed work, like up here on the fence or the sides. For that, you simply set the nozzle diagonally. You can see it clearly again with the horns, diagonal, and then just along the fence. You feel like too little material is coming out of your nozzle? No problem at all. Just turn the little wheel on your handle a bit and repeat the spraying process. Because the big advantage is, when spraying, you don't have to wait until the paint is dry. You can work wet on wet here at any time. You feel like you have too much spray mist? Then there can be 3 reasons for that. The first is, you simply chose too large a distance. Therefore, always remember, 5 to 10 centimeters is the ideal distance to work. The second would be, you have too much air volume. You can easily regulate that. Just turn the knob on top of your device down and repeat the spraying process. The third point is the thinning. Perhaps you have thinned the material too much. Then simply take a little original paint, add it to your mixed material, stir it well again, and then repeat the spraying process. Of course, it can happen that you have too much paint in one spot, but that's not a problem at all. Just take a kitchen towel, wipe over the spot where there's too much material, and then go over the wiped spot again with a simple short spray. After a spraying break, you should definitely check your nozzle. The paint can dry at the front, and I'll show you what that looks like. You see, we definitely don't want the paint on our fence like this, so take the stirring stick, which is included, and just run the tip along the nozzle. If you don't have it with you, it's not a problem. Just scrape the nozzle clean with your fingernail, and now let's see how it looks. During a longer work break, pressure can build up in the container. This can cause material to leak from the nozzle. To prevent this, I recommend simply unscrewing the container to release the pressure and then closing it again. This ensures you can continue working smoothly. As you can see, the fence is finished, and I'm going to lie in the sun for a while. So if you have any questions or ideas for new projects, just email me.